All right. Shh. So, the biggest issue that I assume we have here is we can't do this on our calculator. Can anybody tell me why this can't be done in our calculator?
There's no y in the first one.
But that's what we see, but why is the fact of not having a y in the first one let us know that we can't do this in our calculator? Okay, it's not in y equals mx plus b, but we can still graph it. We use y equals mx plus b that allows us to graph an equation of a line, and just because it's not in there, I can still graph this line. But what restricts it from happening in the calculator? We've had this discussion numerous times. We had it all. The first time this showed up this semester was whenever we were finding the system of equations, and we had an x equaled graph. Okay? Why could we not graph that in the calculator? Does anybody have an idea? Any ideas why? What's the slope of the top line? What's the slope of this right here? It's not. It's a good start, a good chance though. It's not -3. Huh? Does anybody know what kind of line this creates? I mean, you saw the answer a while ago, so what kind of line does it create?
It goes up and down.
It goes vertical, right? All right, so let's talk about a vertical line. All right, so for instance, if I have this vertical line right here, okay, and let's just say, for instance, this is my starting point, and here is another point on that line. How did I get from this point to that point? I know that's a very elementary question, but nobody's answering. How did I get there? Huh? I went up. Now, we don't know how many, so let me just put some tick marks. How many spaces did I go up? 3. Okay, so if I go up 3, that's +3. Did I go left or right at all? So if I don't go left or right at all, what's the value of that? 0. And so when we discuss slope, we talk about it as rise over run. Which one of those did I perform? Rise. I performed rise of 3 and run of 0. So what's the slope? Huh? Error. Could you put it in your calculator? Good. So those of you that want to say 0 is the slope, put it in your calculator right now and go 3 divided by 0 and see what your calculator says. What does it say? It produces error. Okay? And so, once again, this concept right here is something that you should have come in here with. Those of you that I had first semester, we discussed this in depth. Those of you that had Algebra 1 last year, you discussed this in depth. And what this does is it creates an error for the slope. So the slope is really undefined. And since the slope is undefined, this vertical line is passing through one point on the x value, and that x value is never changing. So if there's an x value for this point has the same x value. What happens if the x's repeat? Anybody? Okay. The x's are called the what of an equation? What variable is it? You get 2 choices, 50-50 shot right here. It's the input variable. Very good. Okay? It's the input variable. So what happens if I input the same number that generates a different output? Something happens to my equation or inequality. It is referred to as a non-function. It is referred to as a non-function.
Jay Curtis. Joe Woodson. Abby Collins.
Ethan Hickman.
We're
Joe
videoing you.
Whitson.
We're videoing you. I didn't get a chance. Do
Jesse Alexander.
you want me to finish it? Do you want me to finish it? I don't know. We'll talk about this later. I ain't worried about that right now. All right. So now then, so what you have right here is a non-function. This is a non-function, and your calculator graphs things that are in function. They're functions. Okay. They calculate things that are in functions, and since they are in functions, this is a non-function. It can't be graphed. We established that it's going to create a vertical line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one that we have right here, this vertical line, and I'm going to say that it crosses right there at -3. So that's my -3. This will be -2, -1. That represents my y-axis. There's my y-axis. And there's my x-axis. Okay? And so I have to hand draw this one. So from this line that I drew, it says that it is less than. So which way should I shade? Left or right? Left. I should be going this way, right? Because from there, numbers are getting smaller. Okay? Numbers are getting smaller. So what we have to look at second is we have to look at that one, and we have to put it in y equals mx plus b form. Okay? Okay? And so what do I do first? Minus the 5x. And I'm going to have 3y is going to be greater than or equal to -5x minus 9. Should I flip the sign when I subtracted? Should I flip the sign? No, I only flip the sign when I multiply or divide by that negative number. So I divide by my 3, and I'm going to have y greater than or equal to -5 over 3x minus 3. Okay? And so now, my y-intercept is -3, so let's just say it's right there. Okay? I'm going to go down 5. This way 3. And therefore my line's going to do something like that. Okay? What do I know about that line? Greater than or equal to this line, so which way am I shading? Up. And so the shaded area that is shared is right there.